First, I'll go over my points my opponent made in their first speech and then the points they made in their rebuttal. Now, first, I'd like to define what a victim is. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it defines a victim as a person who has been attacked, injured, robbed, or killed by someone else. Victim and the word victim and the word criminal are not synonymous. A person who commits a crime is a criminal, not a victim. Their first point they made was that it wastes taxpayers' money. That's what prisons do. But it's not wasting it because it's punishing them for a crime. They said that it's an endless cycle and that they come back to prisons because they can't financially support themselves. But according to policyarchive.org, there is financial support available for them. They can reapply for Medicaid and food stamps while they're still in prison, so once they get out, these are available to them to get. And this can help them get back on their feet. This help is available for them. They have to provide for healthcare and mental health services. Prisons have to do that. And since this is available, prisoners with psychological help can go get that help, of which they need. They talk about cost, but according to Smart Asset, the cost varies from state to state. There are 7 states which the cost per inmate is below $20,000, but most states it's above. These states which are above can help adjust to what these other states are doing to keep their costs low so that there's less of a cost of prisons, but money does need to be sent for prisons to be effective. My opponent says that we need to financially support the prisoners, but this will actually allow for more crime to happen as there's incentive if they get financial support when they commit a crime. This would not be an effective system. What if they abuse the financial support? If there's no prison around, there's nothing we can do as an effective way of punishment. And second, bad framework. Private prisons is what they talked about with the bad framework point. But according to Sentencing Project, 8% of the prison population is in private prisons. This is actually a small amount, to where it would be easy to reform it and to take it out, so we don't see the negative effects of private prisons, such as quotas and them working for profit. Now to go over points in the rebuttal. My opponent said I didn't say that public prisons are good, but they are good, and it's because they punish for their crime. And it's the public or private prisons which are the big problem, of which have the quotas and they're trying to make a profit. Take out that, and we see many benefits from that, and we don't see all these negative effects from private prisons. They brought up overcrowding, but no system will be able to handle the huge amount of prisoners. The most effective way to handle these prisoners is through the prison system. They talk about prison rape and crime, but if they take them outside of the prison, they'll actually have less regulation. They won't have the guards and the surveillance over them, so they'll be able to commit these crimes. While they're in prison, crimes do still happen, but there is more surveillance, so that it's more safer than if they were in society. They say that punishing people for their crimes is immoral, but that's not true because prison systems are needed. Almost every country, if not every country, has some sort of prison system to punish the criminals. This system is needed as it's seen around the world. They say they don't want to have a murderer and a petty crime theft in the same place, but they both broke the law. Though they are different laws, they did both break the law. They say reform is too much money, but the main reform which is needed is to get rid of private prisons, and as I said earlier, it's 8% of the prison population, and that's not a huge amount to get rid of. They ask the question, what's more important, punishment or helping someone who needs financial help or psychological help? Well, they can get psychological help in prisons, and once they get out, they can get financial help through the ways I listed earlier of getting Medicaid or food stamps. People need consequences for the action. If they do the crime, they need to pay the time, and prisons is in place for just that. They say sentences are too long, but this is a problem which deals with Congress, the police officers, and judges. The sentences can be changed, but the problem with them, the sentences do not deal with the prisons directly. Alternative provided by my opponent was financial support. But there's no real details are given. I showed that these alternatives don't work. Life sentences would not work with the financial support point because life sentences, people who are serving life in prison, they don't need this financial support as they'll never be back in society and they'll be in prison for the rest of their lives. The cost is higher, and another system can't handle the high numbers of prisoners. I show that criminals are needed to be locked up and punishment needs to happen. Reform can happen through the banning of private prisons. Prisons can be better. Thus, I urge you to negate.